Hey there, Andrew here. I love anime, but I have no patience. So I'm giving every new episode of the summer 2017 season one episode to hook me. Welcome to Debut Review. Today I'm going to watch Knights and Magic. A genius programmer and hardcore robot otaku is reborn into a world of knights and magic. You know, people being reborn into fantasy worlds is a really common theme in anime for the last couple of years. Anyway, genius programmer, hardcore robot otaku reborn in a world of knights and magic, where huge robots called silhouette knights roar across the land. Now, reborn as Ernesti et Chevalier. He uses his vast knowledge of machines and programming talents to begin to make his ultimate robot. But his actions have unexpected results? ... Question mark, exclamation point. The dreams of a robot otaku will change the world! Alright, big blue robot, bunch of people falling, some of them more casually than others. Yeah, well, let's give it a watch. It's alright. So the show starts in the real world. In some company that makes some product, computer software or something. And there's a bunch of people standing around. Oh gosh, why did the company do this? They changed the spec on us, and I already worked 100 hours of overtime this month. We'll never make it in time. And our protagonist, Ernie, says, not to worry. Oh, not in the... Not to worry, guys. Oh, boy, is his voice terrible. Luckily, he doesn't talk much. Says, we can do it! And so he sits down at a keyboard, and then he says, we're never gonna... what exactly does he say? He says something like, we don't have the time to do this right. Code at 130 words a minute, which... I'm not saying is impossible, but I've never seen anyone do that. I don't know if you're a coder or if you know anyone else who writes code for a living or even just for fun, but you don't write code that fast. Here, it's always funny when you see this in movies. Oh, I'm a hacker, I'm coding. Nobody codes like that. Here's what coding looks like. That's okay. You don't just code it. It's not like, you know, copying text. I'm sure there's some savant on Earth, maybe several of them, that can just spit out code like no one's business. But that's not. And I've known genius programmers. Nobody does that. Anyway, whatever. So then he goes out to the toy store, because he's a robot otaku and loves buying all of the robot model kits and stuff from his favorite anime. And he's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this was out yet. I'm like, you're not a very good otaku then, because you know exactly when the stuff you want comes out. Like, I'm a big fan of video games and Nintendo. I know the release dates of the stuff I want. I never walk into the store and go, oh my god, the Nintendo Switch! Who knew it was out? You know? Oh my god, Mario Odyssey! Was that coming out this month? Ooh, contact, stay there. No, don't retreat. Not believable. I expect believability in my fantasy anime. Then he gets hit by a truck and dies. And he's reincarnated as a boy in the fantasy world But it's not particularly clear if he's, like, reincarnated from birth, or if he takes over and overwrites the soul of, like, a 5-year-old boy. Which is a little dark. It's like, was this a different 5-year-old boy and he just completely overwrote the soul, or did his latent reincarnated personality just suddenly kick in? Because he seems to just be, at 5 years old, he's like, wow, where am I? Robots? I've never seen it. And even his parents are like, you mean the Silhouette Knights? Yeah, big common thing. Why are you surprised, you precocious little 5-year-old? A little weird. So he's like, oh my god, I gotta become a Night Runner so that I can, which are the pilots of these big robots, Shadow Knights, so I'm going to learn magic and sword fighting so that I can pilot one of these awesome robots someday, yay! Alright, so he spends the next 3 years learning magic, which he figures out, oh, casting spells is, structurally similar to understanding how programming language works. So since he's a genius programmer, he's naturally very adept at magic. Okay, cool. So a few years pass. He meets two friends, which are the two people at the bottom of the poster. And they're like, hey, magic is cool, teach us. So he does. I guess if you have the want, it's just something you can learn if you stick to it. Then a couple years pass, and he goes to school. And he's playing with a wand. And he's like, these wands are not very ergonomic. And I'm thinking, no? Because they're kind of just a pointy stick. Pretty simple design. It's like, oh, these are clumsy and hard to use. It's a stick, dude. It's like, well, what if the design was like this? I'm like, you're obviously drawing... And they don't reveal what he's drawing because they want it to be a surprise. And I'm like, you're drawing something a lot more complicated than a stick. So he comes up with a better magic wand. You know what it is? It's a gunblade. Not kidding. Gunblade. One of the stupidest concepts ever. He comes up with a gunblade. His first one, I think the gal on the bottom left has a literal gunblade. He has kind of a short shotgun rifle. I'm gun stupid. I don't know what that, but it's a short one that has that lever on the bottom. That one. Rifle, shotgun, I don't know. But I'm thinking, what does the lever do? It's just a stick. You can't... I mean, he's basically come up with a more complicated stick. I don't know why this is better, but it seems to be, so whatever. So he's about 9 years old at this point, trying to get through school so that he can pilot a robot. And then someone points out to him, dude, you may as well take it easy, because you're way too small to pilot these things. And he's like, oh my god, you're right! These giant robots are built for adults. I'm like, you just now realize that you wouldn't be able to reach the pedals? Really? Okay. He goes, I will build my own! I will build my own child-sized robot! I'm like, I think you'll be an adult by the time you build one of these, buddy. Besides, you're a programmer, not a mechanical engineer. Two very different disciplines. Hey, I mean, you can major in both if you want. So 3 years later, he's 12 years old, and he still hasn't, as so far as we see, even started building his robot. Still working through school and such. And it's like, dude, at this point, you're going to be fully grown in another 3 or 4 years, or at least fairly adult-sized enough to pilot one of these things. May as well just wait. I mean, even if you did manage to build a child-sized robot, you'd outgrow it. I mean, I know you're excited to pilot a giant robot. Who wouldn't be? But still. Yeah. There's also a thing that says that the Shadow Knights, the robots themselves, there's been no technological advancements in making giant robots in the last century. Really? None? 100 years and no one's improved anything with this technology? That's kind of hard to believe. Maybe it's just, maybe this is the pinnacle. This is just the zenith. It's as good as it gets. Seems a little weird, though. And apparently, like, the engine that drives these things is, 300 years old. It's like, wow. You guys might want to invest in some more R&D. I mean, you seem to be stagnant here. So the kids are out on a field trip and monsters attack, and then the robots come up and there's a giant monster. And tune in next week. I'm not going to. It's not a bad show. It's fine. I mean, I'm poking fun at it because there's a bunch of stuff that, if you're me, you stop and you go, wait, what? But show's fine. I'm not really interested to watch anymore, but 'tis what it is. So that's what, 6 anime I've watched so far with this season of debut review, and nothing's really blown my skirt up yet. Shame. Well, on to the next one.